Hello. Welcome to the Trading Empire CR7. Hope everyone is doing great. So, welcome to the pre-market analysis and trading ideas as we are heading to the market open next week. So now we have to get prepared and see how can we make money in the market next week. So we're going to talk about GBP GPY, Euro USD, GBP USD, dollar index, and the king gold. So now we need to make sure that we understand what we are going to talk about so that next week we'll be able or ready for everything to make sure that we are not going to make some mistakes in the market. So now let's start from DXY. Let's start from dollar index. Remember, the government was shut down for a long time in the history of America, but now we got an open. So now we are free in the market, so that sometimes where we get the tentative news, now we are going to be continue as normal. So now dollar index. Okay, now starting from the higher time frame, we're in the uptrend. So that let me just start from the higher time frame. This is daily time frame. So you can see now we started from the low by creating higher highs and higher low. This was the last stronger low where we moved from by starting an uptrend. So now we are in the trend continuation. Remember, we talked about this one and we're expecting the market to continue upside until we start targeting these areas from the higher time frame. So now you can see we have this scenario where we have high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, high, low, higher high to the higher low. We are still expecting an uptrend continuation to even continue with the higher highs and higher low until we target these areas of 103.013. So that's why we are targeting from a dollar index. We are expecting the dollar to keep strength and increase the value. So then moving to the lower time frame, where are the perfect areas to buy from? So now for our time frame, we can see now we had this area. Remember the week before last week, we talked about this. We talked about the retracement from this area so that we can move up. So the market was around this area, but we broke below this area and then we continue moving down. Then now we are in an area where we are expecting to be taking a buy from, okay, from this area. So this is a demand area. We can move from this area, or if the market was so aggressive, we can move also down around this area. Then also we can move from this low and continue in the uptrend. So let's move to the lower time frame, even from 1 hour time frame. See what do we have from there. Okay, so this is 1 hour time frame. So we are still from this area, this one. That's where we reacted from. So now you can see the way we are creating the structure now is just so confusing to someone who is new on the dollar index and even someone who understands the technical analysis. You can see now we have this equal lows from this area. So if I'm about to enter the market, remember we are focusing on buy. How can I enter from this area? Because we have seen this happen before where the market was trying to move down from these areas, but we end up moving down where we started. I was saying that the market was trying to move up from this area, but we end up moving down. But this time it's different. We are rejecting from an area where we can expect to be taking a buy from. Okay, so that's why we need to focus on this area so that we can take a buy. So let me check it from this area. Where can we buy from? are we gonna be waiting from this low, the last low? That's possible. The market can move down from this area, then we start creating like a new structure, then we move up. Or now we have some internal areas, this one, where the market can make a retracement from. Let me go to the line chart. Around these areas, the market make a retracement from this area, this one, then we start creating higher highs to the higher low around this area. So then we can start a new structure by creating higher highs and higher low. Then we continue with the trend. Remember, we have to cover this area and continue even above this area. So that's what I'm looking for from dollar index. Maybe we can break below this area, we can move down and make a retracement and make an equal lows from this area, this one. Then from this scenario, we have to wait until we get some kind of market structure from this area, start creating higher highs and higher low. Then we buy from the higher lows, anticipating the market to go back and move in the uptrend. So that's what I'm expecting. Focus on this area next week from Monday. I'm looking for buy from around this area. If we start creating stronger higher highs around this previous, by breaking above these previous areas, the rejection you can see from these areas here. So from that scenario, on the other side, on the Euro USD and GBP USD, that's where we are getting information from the dollar index. If the dollar index gets so stronger next week, we are going so aggressive moving down from Euro USD and even GBP USD. Now let's move to the Euro USD so that we can see what are we expecting next week. Remember, we were from the upside by starting a new trend, bearish reversal. You can see now lower low by breaking the previous low, lower high to the lower low. This is a lower high. We're expecting a lower low to continue in the downside. That's what we are seeing from the market. That's what we are seeing from now. So this is our daily time frame. We are going to move to the lower time frame where we got a very aggressive bullish. So if we were to enter from this area anticipating the market to continue moving down, but we got an aggressive move up to make a retracement from the previous high. So now let's start from here. This is a lower low to the lower high. Okay, we made a retracement from where I'm going to be marking now. Okay, lower low to the lower high. So let me mark those areas. Okay, so this is where we made a retracement from, and this is where another area where we made a retracement from. This one, but let's focus on the lower low. And this area, that's where we are standing right now. So what we are looking for from this area, we need the market to continue moving down, because this is the last low we got, lower low. And then as long as we broke the previous low, we need to continue with the lower low, because we are lower low to the lower high. What next now is the lower low. So we need a confirmation from the lower time frame from this area so that we can decide to enter for sale. That's why we are going to move to the lower time frame and see if we can get those opportunities to move the market down in the trend continuation. So moving to the lower time frame, this is 4 hour time frame. Okay, let us check. Well, we got a reaction from the other area that we talked about. Okay, so let me just talk about this area to see if we are making a perfect market structure from this area or price action, so that we can also trust this area to enter for sale Okay, so first and first, we had this equal high to the low, to the lower high. Okay, from this area, entry for sale, lower low to the lower high, internal area, enter for sale. So the last buying volume was from this area. We are supposed to be taking a sell from this area so that the market will eject from this area and then we continue moving down. That's what was, it wasn't happening like that. So then what happened, the market moved up and we made a retracement from the previous high or an equal high from this area. Then from what I'm saying, if you are seeing well from this area, okay, do you see this? The same scenario as what is happening from this area, double tops from this area, double tops from this area. You can see this one. This is a low to the high. Maybe we can continue with the lower low, but we are still from the higher time frame. This is for our time frame. Let's move to the lower time frame to confirm if we are going to be taking a sell from exactly where the price is now. Okay, so let's move to 1 hour time frame. Okay, let's focus on this area. Now the market, the way the market looks like, remember from DXY, this structure just make no sense from this area. Let me show you. Okay, so now we have equal highs from this area. This is an equal high. We have internal areas. Okay, let me check this one from the lower time frame, also 30 minutes. That's where I'm going to be looking for confirmation to enter for sale. Okay, so we have this scenario. We have low to the high, to the lower low, to the high, to the low, to the high. This is a breakout structure from this area, but we went down again. Equal lows from this area. This scenario is so confusing right now. So what are we gonna do from here? Okay, so what we need to see, what I want to see from here, I need the market to make a retracement maybe around these areas. This area, I don't need the market to even move above this area so that we can start struggling with this high, so that we can also continue from that area. Okay, so we can make a retracement from around this area or around this area. That's what I want to see in the market. If the market move up, okay, make a retracement from this area, okay, then I will be looking to make sure that I'm going to move down, creating a lower low from this area. Then from the lower high, that's where I'm going to be entering for sale from, anticipating the market now to go back on the cut of the downtrend. If we create a lower low from this area, then from the lower high, that's where I'm going to be entering for sale from, around this area. So anticipating the market to move down. So we need a very stronger volume to move the market down. But if you are familiar with GBP USD and Euro USD, the way they move, this one doesn't matter if we are in the trend continuation. Okay, you can say, oh, if we enter from this area, the market is going to be rejecting around this area. Yes, we can get a reaction from those areas, but as long as we have to follow that trend and we got a confirmation to sell, we have to focus on that trend continuation to the downside. So I'm looking for sell if I see this happen, okay, from this area. If it doesn't, maybe the market is going to continue, okay, to continue and go back to this area. Then we can now expect the market to move down from this area, this one. So if we move up around this area, we can make a retracement from this area, then we move down. But this one has no high probability, high chance, but I'm still looking for sell from this area if I see what I have talking about. Okay, so now let's move to GBP USD. Same scenario. Okay, so now this is so confusing right now. Let's start from the higher time frame. This is daily time frame also again. We were from the high by expecting the market to change the direction to the downside. That is a bearish reversal from this area. You can see now we have made a lower lows and lower highs. Let me just, if this is your first time here, show you where we confirmed from a reversal to the downside. This is weekly time frame. So then from the higher time frame, if we have the highs or low, that's where we expect the market to change the direction to the other side. So now we got a reaction from this area. That's why we're expecting the market to reverse to the downside. And then we start again targeting the downside areas like these ones. Okay, these ones, and even we are expecting the market to even continue moving down to these areas downside. So now we got a reaction from this area. We entered from this area. Remember, we have made profit from this area. Then now what are we looking for is to continue focusing on how can we enter from this area, from these areas to continue moving down. But remember, if we have an imbalanced areas, we can also expect some deep pullback to the upside. So from reacting from the areas where we are expecting to be taking a sell from. So now this is a daily time frame. Maybe I can also confirm this area as the high, the last high to be taking a sell from. This is a strong area. If the market continue move up and make a reaction from this area, I will be looking for entry from the lower time frame to enter for sell from this area, because this area is so stronger to enter from. This is a supply area. So then now from where we are standing now, I need to check properly from the lower time frame if we can wait until we get to this area, or if we can go with a pullback and then we take a buy from this area and target this area, or we can also make a, or we can check from this reaction from this area, then maybe we can move down from where the price is standing right now. So now moving to the lower time frame, this is for our time frame from here. Okay, so you can see that from the lower time frame, the market is moving up. The market is making a very deep pullback by creating higher highs and higher lows. Okay, you can see now, as long as we are staying above this area, this is the high to the low, high to the low, higher high to the higher low. We are expecting the higher high to target this area, but we are not going to confirm that. We are not going to confirm that we are going to buy from that area to target the area where we are expecting to be taking a sell from. So that's why we need to move to the lower time frame, where we can get more information on how can we make a decision from this area. So this is 1 hour time frame. Okay, 1 hour time frame. How do we have from this area? So this is the higher high. Let's start from this area. Let's focus on this. Okay, so now this high made a reaction from this area. Do we see that? Okay, if we made a reaction from this area, this was a higher high, but we are in the downtrend from the higher time frame. That's where we get confused from this area. Yes, we have a higher high from the lower time frame. Confirm that we are going to continue with the higher high by moving up. But the only problem we have, we rejected from an area where we can also expect a sell from. So what can we do from this scenario? Then now we have areas to target if we take a buy from this area. You can see that from this area, makes sense that we are moving up. This is very, very understandable that we can enter from this area and then we target this area. And even these are also highs to target from. So let me just check from the line chart. Okay, so you can see how we reacted from this area, this one. Okay, let me do this. Okay, remove these lines, go back to the candlesticks. This reaction is better to expect the market to move down, but the only problem, we cannot confirm right now to enter for that, as long as we still have these lows like demand areas from the lower time frame where we can buy from. So this structure, okay, we need to make sure that we are from this rubbish from this area to make sure that we can move down. So how? So from what I'm expecting or what I need to see so that I can decide based on that, we can see that the market moved down from the areas where we can buy from. We moved up, this was the news, but also we made a reaction from this supply area, then rejected from that area, we moved down. And again, from the downside, this created a consolidation. We also rejected from the downside and then we're moving up. What am I looking for here? So what I need to see from this scenario, I need the market to give me the fact that we are going to move down, or the market is going to really continue creating these higher highs and higher low by targeting this area where we can take a buy at a sell from, as we're expecting a trend continuation to the downside. So if the market, okay, if we also again break above this area, I'll be looking for buy from the higher lows from those areas by expecting the market to continue moving up. Don't worry about this. I will make a screenshot and mark everything, and I will send them from the trading focus WhatsApp channel so that you can watch from there. Okay, so now what I need to see to make sure that maybe we can go back to the downside is that if we reject also again from this area, from around maybe this area, and make a lower low by breaking below the previous low, I will be looking for sell from any lower high from this area, from these areas. I will be looking for sell from those areas, anticipating the market to go back to the downside, because we are in the downtrend. You can see now we are expecting the market to continue moving up unless we have this area, unless the market decide to break above this area, and then we target this area where we can take a sell from also again. So that's what I'm looking for from GBP USD. Okay, now moving to GBP GPY. Remember from our previous videos, we talked about GJ uptrend continuation. That's what happened. Okay, so this was the news was so aggressive, but remember where we started from the downside. I will not talk about that. So we're expecting the market to move up from this area. That's what we got. Also again, we predicted the market to move from this area. We moved from that area. Also again, we broke this structure. Also again, we are from imbalanced areas. We didn't come back to make a retracement from this area, but we are still above this area where we are now going to predict the market from. Okay, let's move everything and see what we can do. Okay, now let's start from the higher time frame to make it clear that we are moving up. So you can see now we created higher highs and higher lows even from the daily time frame. We are focusing to target the areas. Let me just go and check from the monthly time frame. Okay, so you can see now we are targeting this area. This is the last near buying volume that we got from this area, and then we have also this area as our main target to target from. So, but this is going to take even next year to target this area. So, but we need to position ourselves from this area so that we can target at least, this is 213.855. So this is our target now. We can make it the target from where the market is now, as we are expecting a buying continuation. So now moving to the lower time frame, we are going to be looking for areas to buy from so that we can target that area. Okay, moving to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, we need to make sure that we are entering from strong areas. So you can see now we swept liquidity last week from this area. Okay, that's where we rejected from this internal area from this one. Then we moved up, started creating high highs and high low. So we are struggling now by breaking above the previous structure, this area. Okay, so now even we have a near target buy from the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so this is an area to target from. This is an area also to target from. Let's see if we are still below those areas. Okay, we got to this one and also we got to that one. So this one is cancelled. And then what is another area we are going to be targeting on now? So we can see now we rejected from this area, which is very stronger. We can expect a reaction from that so that we can make a deep pullback, but we are still focusing on buy. It will depends on which lows do we have from the lower time frame. Okay, let's focus from where the market is now. Okay, so now we have this area, this one, to make a retracement from so that we can buy from that area, and we are above this area. Okay, so 1-hour time frame looks like we are going back to the previous high so that we can even break above that area. So we are going to be focusing on buy just only as long as we are staying above this area. Where am I gonna be looking for buy from? So if we move down, we have some areas to buy from, like this one and even this area. But now let's focus on this area to target this high. Okay, so last week we struggled from this area, created higher highs. We went back to this area to create an equal lows from this area. So now, as long as we rejected from this area multiple times, we need to prove that we are going to the upside. That's why we need more confirmations. That's why, as long as we are trying to create highs and lows from these areas, we are expecting the market to continue moving up. Checking from 30-minute time frame, that's why I'm going to be checking an entry from. Okay, I would like to see if we can move back again to this area so that we can take a buy from that area, or if we stay above that area, above this area, this one. So I need the market to continue. Okay, this is the low to the high to the lower low from this one, equal low from the downside, high to the low. This is a high from this one to the higher low. I would like to see a higher low from this area, but that one is an equal high also from this area. So if we stay above this area, we are going to be looking for higher high by breaking above this previous high. So if we create a higher high, at least from this area, I'm looking for buy from this area and even this one. So it will also depend on the confirmation that we are going to be getting from the lower time frame. So this is an area to buy from, and the downside, this is an area to buy from. So as long as we are staying above this area, so I'm still looking for buy. But from what I'm seeing now, if the market creates a higher high from this area, it will be an opportunity to enter from this area to buy. Let me just check. Okay, even from 1 hour time frame, that makes sense to enter from this area. This will be an opportunity if we make a retracement. But before that, we need to make sure that we have a higher high. So that's what I'm looking for from GJ. Okay, I'm looking for buy. From the King Gold. Okay, do you remember what happened last week? Okay, you can see now we entered from this area by making money where we're expecting the market to move up, but after that we struggled so much. Let me explain this. What happened? How did we find ourselves in the position where the market was so aggressive by moving down from gold? Okay, so remember we did take a buy from this area by expecting the market to continue moving up. Remember we had this target, our previous high, this one to target from, and from the lower time frame we moved up from that area, but we had this area as an imbalance to make a retracement from. So we are looking for a retracement from this area because this was a higher high. We wanted a higher low. Then we can continue with the higher high. Okay, that it didn't happen. So we stayed above this area, which doesn't make any sense about this area. No entry from that area. If you try to enter from this area, but this is an imbalance, that's why we struggled to move up from this area. And then the market started creating a lower low by breaking the previous low. Then from this area, we are waiting to make a retracement from this area, this one. So if the market moves down like this, this is a high to the lower low by breaking the previous low, lower high. From this area, there is no any low where we are reacting from. That's why from this scenario, I cannot trust this area to buy from. So from the lower time frame, let me check if we got some kind of, maybe entered from this area by anticipating this is the high to the low, anticipating the market to continue with the higher high, targeting this area, but you need to have a volume so that you can make sure that you are creating a pullback to the high, so we can expect to make a sell from this area. We struggled from this area, the market moved down, then we're expecting the market to make an equal low from this area or make a retracement from this area so that you can enter from there. So that's what happened. We made a reaction from this area, but still we failed to break above and create high highs from the previous high, these areas. Then the market decided to move up. The reason for that, as long as you are from the areas which are imbalanced, don't even trust the market that is going to continue in your favorite direction, that you think that we are going to continue in the uptrend, because the trend, the candlesticks are bullish, important to make a retracement from. So then we broke below this area, the market moved down all the way down, and we went back, make a little reaction from the previous low. This is an equal low. So from a trader who was waiting for an retracement from this area, then the market broke below this area, we moved down to make a reaction from this area to buy from this area, this one. We had to make sure that we have more confirmation, because we are waiting the market to make a retracement from this area. We didn't want the market to move down and start rejecting from the previous even lows, there is a problem for that. That's why we have to make sure that if we don't have a new structure from this area, like creating a chart pattern from this area, we are not going to enter for buy from there. Okay, so that's what happened. We broke below this area. This scenario is so tough right now. What are we looking for? We are so aggressive, like we are making a deep pullback. So now if I was in the sell from this area, or if someone who waiting to buy, I'll be waiting from around these areas. This area, that's where I'm gonna be waiting from. This is from 4,000. Okay, that's where I'm gonna be waiting to buy from. Okay, this is from the higher time frame, daily time frame. That is a strong area to buy from, as we are expecting the market to continue moving up. So from the lower time frame, what do we see from there? Okay, you can still see this area is very, very important to make a reaction from, so that you can continue moving up. So if you understand the market and you know how trading is, you have to be patient and wait from this area. If you are looking to make money from gold next week and still looking, or maybe I'm going to make some $100, $200, or whatever you are targeting from gold, you have to make sure that you enter from areas where the market is supposed to be entering from. So now this is a low. We made a reaction from this area, which is not stronger. Let's check from the lower time frame, 30 minutes. Okay, we made a reaction from this area. Can we enter for buy from this area? Because of this, I can't trust this area because it's not strong enough. We have seen this move before, where we also broke below the areas which were stronger, like this. So what I'm looking for right now, we have this high where we reacted from, where the market is, and trying to move down from that area. My idea is that I will be waiting from this area to buy from. Okay, that is the first one. Secondly, moving to the lower time, this is 30-minute time frame. Let's move to the 15-minute time frame and see what is there. Okay, we are reacting from this area, this one. Okay, we are into consolidation from this area. This doesn't make any sense. We have to make sure that we wait for the confirmation from this area. We can continue moving down from this area, and then we tap to this area, then we can buy from there. So, and then also we can break above this area and continue moving up and make a reaction from this area. Okay, so to make sense from there, my first decision was from this area, to buy from this area. Secondly is to wait for a reaction. I want to see a reaction from this. If we move back from this area, I need to see a reaction from there. Okay, if the market move up and make a retracement from this area, this will be equal high, and even we have an equal low, which makes a range. If we move down from this area and create also a lower high, I will be looking for sell around the areas from where we are creating a reaction from the high to target this area. I will be looking for sell from there. So my decision now from 30-minute time frame and even from the other time frame, I have to wait from this area. But if I get an opportunity to be taking a sell from this area, that's what I'm going to be waiting for, by creating the high from this area to the higher low, and this will be a lower low from this area to the lower high. That's lower high, that's where I'm going to be entering from. So let's wait for the market to open, and we are going to see how we are going to make those reactions so that you can make a decision based on that. Okay, so guys, that's what I can say from GBP, GPY, Euro USD, GBP, USD, dollar index, and gold. So we have a problem from the trading focus, and we are solving that problem. So maybe from Tuesday or Monday, we are going to be looking to go back on live. So make sure that you follow the trading Empire CR7. So from Monday, if we are not live on the trading focus, so you can shift to the trading Empire CR7, so that we are going to be following gold from Monday. So guy, thank you so much for your time. Remember, subscribe on this channel, and I will see you next week on the live. And we have live also now from the trading Empire CR7 on BTC. So ciao.